I'd like to welcome you all to our Thursday 1:30 p.m. session with Giovanna and a special guest, Amelia, today, where they will be discussing the connection between dementia and the WildTech DC Senior Digital Inclusion Program. Its owners and presenters are collecting information. Virtual health well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on information in any apps or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters, as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see us, hear us, let us know. Let's keep our microphones in mind and our TVs and cell phones so we all can hear each other as best as we can. And as always, you can review and rewind, share this video on YouTube. Hello, YouTube, your friends, family, and community members. So, without further ado, Giovanna and Amelia, if you could introduce yourselves and your topic for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm here as your tech support. Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm Giovanna. I'm the Dementia Program Coordinator at DACL. And I brought along Camelia.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. My name is Camelia Austin, and I'm the Program Manager for the Nutrition Services Program here for at DACL. We provide services to seniors for our congregate meal program, our home delivery meal program, and as well as partnership program that provide guidance to the partnership program that we collaborate with here at DYRS. We also have a supplement program as well. At the For all the nutrition programs that we facilitate, we provide programming activities, and one of them is nutrition education. That is why I'm here with you today, and I'm so happy to be able to collaborate with Geneva to provide this presentation. So I am here only to support and Giovanna. So if you have any questions that you would like to get answers for as far as dementia nutrition support, I'm here and readily available to answer those questions. So, looking forward to this presentation and all the questions and answers, because we understand that treating dementia and depression can be a very, very challenging situation. So I'm readily and really happy to be here to support dementia care through nutrition support.
Well, thank you for your introductions. Also, just wanted to say hi to Latonya. Thanks so much for joining us today. This is going to be a great session. And please, folks, if you have questions, try to raise your hands. But Giovanna, if you'd like to ask the group any questions, they can unmute themselves, all of that good stuff.
Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Okay, there we go.
We can all see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Full screen ahead.
Awesome.
Okay, great.
Okay. So, of course, I always come with an agenda. So we're going to do an icebreaker. We're going to talk about what is dementia causes and risk factors. So we're just going to do a quick review. We're also going to talk about prevention tips, and then we'll go through challenges with nutrition. We'll talk about the symptoms, navigating mealtime, how to reduce those challenges, understanding why independence is important, navigate some safety tips, and some overall tips to remember. So my first icebreaker question is, what is your favorite food and drink?
Anyone, you can unmute yourself and share.
Anything in the sweet potato family.
Anything
my
in
favorite.
The
I love
family.
sweet potatoes. It always, all my life, I've loved those things.
I do.
And my favorite drink is lemonade and water.
Okay. Okay. So we got lemonade, water, and anything in the sweet potato family. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I love rice.
Rice.
Yes. And I love water. There's none of the drinks that I really care about. I
I,
love,
That's
I,
fair.
you ready?
Yes. Go ahead, Miss
I
Gerald.
love, I love mustard greens. I just love
Mustard.
mustard. That's my favorite. And then next would be turnips. Now, I
Turn.
guess my favorite beverage would be coffee because I have to have my coffee in the morning when I wake up. So I'm gonna say coffee.
Okay.
Mhm.
You sound like my granddaddy with the coffee.
Oh
I do
yeah,
like mustard and turnip greens, so I
do
agree with
you?
you on that one. Yeah.
Okay,
Me
okay,
And
too.
Miss
okay.
Louise, my mom can eat rice all day long. So she's right
Mm,
there with you with the rice, Miss Louise.
love
mm-hmm.
We got
Um,
Brenda and then Tom.
Yes, I like potato salad and tea.
potato salad and tea. Those are two good options. Okay, I'm with you
Uh,
on that one.
yeah, I put a little shrimps in mine and a little crab meat.
You know, my nana used to do
Sounds
that too.
good.
So okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do.
Mhm.
That's how I mine.
Okay. All right. That's a good option, Mr. Tom.
I like pizza and a beer.
Oh,
You
Oh,
know,
that's good, Tom.
that's good. And those two things go together nicely. And you can never go wrong with pizza. You
Thank
can never
you.
go wrong with pizza because you can have a lot of different toppings on pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. The next icebreaker question is if you could get rid of one food forever, what would it be and why?
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
if
It's
you could get rid of one food forever, what would it be and why? And that's for everybody.
Peas, because I don't
Peas.
like them. Never did.
Okay. Peas.
I,
I can understand
I
peas.
hate green peas.
I can
Lima
understand peas.
bean.
Lima beans.
oh, come on. I love lima beans.
Lima
Yeah, well,
beans,
you can take.
avocado.
You can all share this you all can share.
Mr. Tom, I saw your hand.
I would get rid
Avocado.
of.
okra.
I would
Okra.
get rid of Brussels sprout.
Brussels
Oh, come on.
sprout.
Y'all are
Okay.
breaking my heart
I
today.
So we
can't.
get
I
rid of
can't
lima
stand
beans,
okra.
avocado,
So
Brussels
you don't
sprout.
like if you don't like okra, Mr. Tom, that means you don't like gumbo?
I love okra.
Oh, me too.
I make a gumbo, but I don't use okra.
Okay. So he'll
Oh,
pluck.
okay.
He's like, take the okra out.
I put asparagus in it.
Oh,
Asparagus.
okay.
Asparagus,
Okay.
Tom.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay. Asparagus. Asparagus is good.
Yeah.
I
So
love
good.
asparagus.
Yeah.
The next icebreaker question is what is your favorite way to stay hydrated?
Water.
I drank
Drink
plenty
water.
of water.
Drink
Water.
water.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of water.
Plenty of water.
Water.
I drink water when I first get up in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Good too.
I
Who's
was
the
waiting
voice?
for someone to say that.
And off
Yeah.
and on during the day, I'm sipping about 5 or 6, 16.9 ounce bottles of water.
Okay. So we got water.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. I keep it at my bedside.
Yeah, see.
Grab it first thing.
I'm
Okay.
told by my doctor that I don't hydrate enough.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else? Is there any other way they like to stay hydrated other than water?
Liquor.
We learned about bioactive water at once where we put like lemons or limes or like
Yes.
cucumbers or fresh herbs in the water. So that way for what you drink, it's like, you get the most out of it.
Less
Okay.
acidic.
I do like lemon or mint in my water.
Mm-hmm.
Some fruit in my water sometimes, give it some flavor.
You
Yeah.
put ginger in it too.
Mm-hmm.
I just like cold water.
Cold water.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nothing
that's
added.
fair.
Mhm.
And then
You
what
put
is one
in
challenge
it
you
and go
have
for
with
it.
eating and staying hydrated?
Oh, the challenge that we have to stay hydrated.
Which one challenge you have with eating and staying hydrated? Anybody have a challenge with that?
I think at some points, or I think everyone at some point during the week, maybe have a lot going on and they forget to drink water. I know sometimes maybe if I'm working somewhere, I may, have so much on my mind that I may forget to drink. So, but even just in daily life, if you have a lot going on, you may forget to drink. So that's an ongoing challenge.
Yep, that can happen.
When I have appointments, I
Mm.
sometimes will not drink because I don't need the excess water while I'm away. And the eating, if it's not time for me to eat, I won't eat until I get back.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
When
That
I'm
can
going to
happen.
church, when I'm going to church in the morning, I don't drink as much.
Yeah, I don't.
Because
Hmm.
then you got to get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have an appointment, I'm the same way, Grace said. I won't drink a lot of water because I know I'll have to go to the bathroom while I'm out, and I
Yep,
don't want to do
Mm.
that.
right.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So we're going to keep all these things in mind as we walk through this presentation. So we're just going to do a run through to talk about what is dementia. So we know dementia is the umbrella term, and that's because, it's going to describe conditions which cause decline in thinking, cognition and memory, mood and behaviors. We also know that dementia ranges from mild to severe, and it is a progressive disease, so it does progress over time. And we've also learned that there are over 100 different types of dementia, but we've gone through the most common types such as Alzheimer's, vascular, dementia with Lewy bodies, frontal temporal, and mixed dementia. In terms of causes, we understand that dementia can be caused by abnormal changes in the brain. It's also a result of various diseases and or other injuries that may have directly or indirectly impacted the brain. But we also know that it's important to remember that symptoms and progression always depend on the type as well as the areas of the brain that have been impacted. So we're going to run through again our dementia risk factors. So we have age, certain medical diagnoses such as diabetes or hypertension, being overweight or obese, smoking, heavy consumption of alcohol, lack of physical activity, head injuries, social isolation, and certain mental health diagnoses such as depression and anxiety. So, for our dementia prevention tips, we know there's no cure for dementia, but there are some things that we can do to help decrease our risk. So, we're looking at maintaining a healthy lifestyle, which consists of managing chronic conditions, maintaining a healthy diet, being physically active, not smoking, getting proper sleep, being socially active, and participating in activities that stimulate cognitive and daily functioning, which I know a good chunk of you all do because you're here on Biotech. So you all are doing a lot of things to help keep your brain stimulated and active. So now let's talk about the nutrition piece.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
Geraldine, do you have a question for Giovanna?
I do, Giovanna. We didn't mention heredity. What did we say about that, about dementia being hereditary? Do we ever talk about that?
We did, and it depends on the type. So, like Alzheimer's
Okay,
does have a genetic component. And then
okay,
some of them, when you're looking at family history, like if you have a family history of diabetes, high blood
oh,
pressure, high cholesterol, those are
okay,
things that you want to note when you're talking to your doctor.
okay, great. Thank you.
You are welcome. So now we're talking about understanding nutrition. So proper nutrition is going to always include having an adequate amount to eat and drink, as well as maintaining and sustaining an appropriate weight, which is very important for individuals with dementia. So it's also important to note that although there are a lot of benefits, there can also be some challenges with nutrition. Okay.
Yes.
I also want you
So
all to keep,
let me can I interject now?
you can.
Um Remember now, dementia is a declining brain function, right? So nutrition is very, very crucial in maintaining health and memory functions. Um, the lack of adequate nutrition can accelerate, those cognitive decline, which, and especially for people with dementia or or those who have risk for developing dementia. So nutrition is very vital. And, it is one thing that is oftentimes overlooked for people who are at risk for developing dementia. So, I just want you to be very cognitive of the important, because if, nutrition is not, if it's unchecked, I want to say it's unchecked again, it can exacerbate memory loss and other symptoms, which makes it very, very hard to maintain or to treat people with dementia. So it's very, very important that, we take nutrition very, very serious in dementia care.
Thank you for that.
Thank
It's
you,
also,
Camelia.
what'd you say, Alex?
I was just thinking Camellia, and I mean that goes with mind, body, and soul. When we neglect our body and our food and our exercise, it affects our feelings, and our emotions and our thought processes and how we feel. So, thank you so much for that distinction.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
also important to note that there are other possible factors that can contribute to changes with nutrition. Yes, dementia is one of them, but it's also important to keep in mind that other changes can happen due to illness, because you got to think about it. When you're sick, sometimes you don't really have an appetite and you're not really trying to eat anything. You don't want to drink anything. You don't want to really do anything because you just don't feel your best. You're also looking at mouth or dental issues. So if you have ill-fitting dentures, if you have tooth issues, if you have discomfort within the mouth, such as, gum disease, cavities, things of that nature, it's also going to impact how you eat, as well as vision or hearing issues if you're experiencing constipation, dehydration, and medication side effects. So it's important to keep in mind all of these things when we're looking at nutrition. So, some challenges that can be experienced with individuals with dementia when we're looking at nutrition, it can be too many distractions, and they're unable to really focus on things. So if you got a lot of things going on at one time, we got the TV on, we got a radio on, it's multiple people trying to talk to them when they're trying to eat, they're not really going to be able to focus on what's in front of them. You're also looking at being overwhelmed by the amount and or various types of food on a plate. So if you have, let's say you cook this big old meal and you decide I want to give them a little bit of everything, you've given them too many options. That can be very overwhelming to try to pick through, like, do I eat this? Do I touch this? I don't know if I like this. I don't remember if I've ever had this. That can really be a lot. And then if you give them too much on a plate, they may feel obligated to try to eat everything, especially if they're already feeling full and they may not want to continue to eat it. You're also looking at, sometimes they may not be able to recognize the food that you give them. So, like, let's say you give them their favorite food, their favorite thing they like to eat. Sometimes they may not be able to recognize that. And you may have to explain what it is. Like with my granddaddy, he used to love eggs. My granddad doesn't like eggs anymore. But we realized it's certain types of eggs. So how you cook the egg is very important. He no longer likes scrambled eggs or fried eggs. But if we give him a boiled egg, he'll eat it. If we give him potatoes, he used to like potato salad. He no longer likes potato salad. The only way he'll eat potatoes is if it's fried. It's a fried potato. That's it. But he'll often ask sometimes too, what is this? Before we give it to him, and we'll explain, and he'll go, I've never had that before. And he thinks he's trying something for the first time, and he's been eating it forever. You're also looking at changes in smell, taste, and even textures of food. So where they might have liked things one way before, like I said, as they change, textures may be different for them, and that might be a challenge because they may no longer like that certain texture of the food. They may not like the smell of it or even the taste, whereas they could have liked the taste of it before. You're looking at change in hunger cues and eating habits. So they may no longer be getting those hunger cues to say, like, hey, it's time to eat, we're hungry. Or they may have forgotten that they've already eaten and it's like, I need to eat again. I want this, I want that. So you really want to pay attention to those, because that can also be problematic, that they may not eat or they may try to overeat, We're looking at lack of physical activity or constipation. If you're constipated, a lot of times you have bloating going on in the belly and you already feel full and you don't want to add to it by eating anything else. That can cause some challenges. Medications sometimes take away appetite as well as the ability to eat independently. Sometimes they may need assistance. So we're looking at adaptive eating utensils, or you may have to change how the food is, or you may have to actually feed them yourself. Issues with dentures, if the dentures don't fit, that's going to be a problem because they can't chew. And then you're looking at challenges with communication and challenges with swallowing and chewing.
Oh, Giovanna, going
Yes.
back, going to that first point. So again, this list is in regards to challenges with nutrition with someone that has dementia. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one you talked about too many distractions. So if people really recommend like the dinner table still or eating at the dinner table because of that being able to communicate and like, food time being like a social time.
Mm-hmm.
And all the benefits of that. So, how would you recommend? Would you still recommend like the dinner table situation with others, and maybe the family members just recognizing that it could be they could be distracted in some way at the table. So, what is your thoughts on that? That just
You
piqued
can
my.
still do dinner time with the family. Just be mindful, like if you all are having multiple discussions going on at one time, they're going to have trouble trying to follow it.
Mm,
And if you're having such a hearty discussion during dinner, they may get very engrossed in the conversation and not really eat. So you want to make sure you're still including them and allowing them to socialize, but also remind them to actually eat.
hmm
So kind of just limit the distractions. But sometimes you have people who will eat and they'll have like a TV going on, they'll have a radio, they'll try to talk to you, and it's just a lot of things happening at one time. Like with my granddad, when we feed him, we try to take his cell phone away from him because he will try to call everybody in the cell phone while he has dinner, but he won't eat anything on the plate because he doesn't talk to everybody.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, those are like the things when we're saying limit distractions,
hmm
kind of keep them focused on the task at hand, which is eating.
hmm Okay.
And
Giovanni.
one
Oh.
of the one of the things with people with dementia, right? You want to assist them with maintaining independence for as long as possible. So I always tell my caregivers, allow your loved ones to partake in shared meals or in socializing for as long as possible so that they could continue to improve on their social interaction. And like Giovanna said, it depends sometimes on what stage of dementia they're going through. The early stages, while they're still able to do certain things for themselves or even to sit at a dining table, you want to make certain that you keep them engaged and also to promote or, encourage them to eat or stay on task with eating. But like I said, maintaining independence is really, really vital um, for supporting people with dementia.
Thank you, Camelia. That's amazing. Gracie, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, I was my sister.
Mm-hmm.
They asked us at the nursing home to try to come after they feed her because when my brother would be there, just like you say, she got distracted and she didn't want to eat, so he has to wait not till she eats, and then he'll come in. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's a good example.
Yeah,
Distractions. Because
yeah.
sometimes it's like they'll see somebody that they haven't seen for a while and get really excited. And so then it's like the food has gotten cold or they're not going to eat anymore. And then you also have some people like my granddaddy, he doesn't like eating in front of a bunch of people. So if we take him somewhere, he's not going to eat. The only thing he'll do is drink a cup of coffee.
Mhm. So while you're maintaining independence or that social environment for it, you have to make certain that at the same time you are having or creating a calm and a distraction-free environment. So you don't want to come in and have so many people coming in at the same time. You want to make certain that, hey, that while you're maintaining that socializing, that you maintain a calm and distraction-free setting for the
Mm-hmm.
patients. Yes.
Mr. Tom,
Can you hear me?
I
Mm-hmm.
can hear you.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
My father passed away with heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 86 years old, and I just had a heart monitor put in, a pacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Never had any trouble with heart trouble. However, my question is there a warning sign about getting dementia?
Mm-hmm. So there are warning signs, right? Like if you're starting to notice your memory isn't the best. And now occasional forgetting is very normal and natural to the aging process. So when I say memory, I mean like it's things that's impacting how you function in everyday life and it's causing a disruption.
Okay.
That's a problem. You're also looking at your overall daily functioning. Are you maintaining problem solving and functioning in your day to day life with your bill pay? Are you keeping up with that? Are you keeping up with your overall hygiene? You're looking at issues like that. There are certain signs like dementia, heart attack, and strokes are the three things where they never just came out of nowhere. There are always signs and symptoms. The only caveat to that is signs and symptoms are often very subtle, that they go missed.
Hmm.
hmm
Thank
Before
you.
I leave, I'll make sure I drop in the chat the 10 warning signs so you can have that, Mr. Tom.
Hmm.
You're welcome. Alrighty. So some symptoms that can be experienced when you're noticing challenges with nutrition. You may notice that a person is experiencing weight loss. You may also notice that they refuse to eat or drink, or they may not even acknowledge or touch what is on their plate. They may have some pain or discomfort, and they might spit out the food when they're eating. You may also start to notice frequent choking, as well as they may start to look like a little chipmunk because they're starting to hold food in their mouth, but they're not chewing it and they're not swallowing it. It's just sitting in their cheeks.
Mm.
So, navigating mealtime. So, here's some tips that we can kind of help, to reduce challenges. You want to make sure you're keeping the table setting as simple as possible, right? So you want to avoid any pattern tablecloths or placemats. So don't have the table so busy that it looks distracting. Keep it simple. Remember when we did the presentation on dementia and communication, and one of the key tips to remember was keeping it simple. With communication, same thing applies here with mealtime. Keep it simple. You also want to make sure you're using contrast. So if you give them, let's say you give them, where's Miss Geraldine? Because she said her favorite food is greens. So if let's say you give them a bowl of mustard and turnip
Yeah,
greens.
here I am.
There we go, Miss Geraldine. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
we're giving this person a bowl of mustard and turnip greens.
Yeah.
We wouldn't put it in a green bowl.
Okay.
We would put it probably like in a white bowl or in a
Mm-hmm.
yellow bowl or something where they can distinguish this is the actual greens and the green is not blending in with the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Louise said her favorite food is rice. So we wouldn't give them rice in a white bowl because the rice would start to blend in with the bowl. So you want to start to use contrast. So then that way it helps with their visual and spatial cues. Like we mentioned, we're limiting distractions. So we're kind of having quiet settings, but still encouraging socialization. Just remember to limit distractions. You also want to make sure you're checking food temperatures before you're giving it to the person because you don't want the food to be too hot, because sometimes depending on where they are in their stage of dementia, they may not have the wherewithal to remember to blow on it to cool it down. So you don't want to give it to them and they immediately start eating and they burn their mouth because it was too hot, right? You also want to minimize food options. So like I said, you can try to serve 1 or 2 meals or like 1 or 2 options at the time. So then that way you don't give them too many options to choose from and they're trying to have the choice of like, I don't know if I want this, I don't know if I want that, maybe I don't want either. So kind of just meeting them where they are and limiting it. You also want to acknowledge that food preferences can change. So be flexible and patient. They may like one thing today and they might not like it tomorrow. Or they may not like it next month, and that's okay. Also, allow adequate time for eating. Do not rush them. Give them the amount of time, however long it's going to take. So if you know it's going to take them an hour to eat a meal, make sure you have scheduled that 1 hour for them to properly eat their meal. Make mealtime social. So again, like we said, we want to encourage socialization at the table as well as encourage family dinners because that's very beneficial. You also want to address a decreased appetite. So you can offer small meals and snacks throughout the day, as well as their favorite foods. Because again, it's important to remember that where they are in their stage of dementia, they may or not remember if they've eaten. So what we do with my granddad, because a lot of times his appetite is very dependent upon his moods. If he's not in the best mood, he's not going to eat. So what we'll do is give him little small snacks throughout the day, something we'll know he'll nibble on, because one, he has to take medication, it'll coat his stomach, but 2, it's also giving him some type of nutrition. On the days where he's in a great mood, he'll try to eat all day long if we let him. So you just got to remember to meet them where they are. And then, of course, you want to make sure mealtime is a calm, safe, and comfortable experience for them. But you also got to think about it. You would like a calm, safe, and comfortable dining experience, right? You don't want to eat in chaos. Same thing applies
Never.
to them. Exactly, because then you done lost your appetite and you're just frustrated at this point. Like you just no. Keep it calm. Make it safe and comfortable. Miss Geraldine.
You know, speaking of the food and eating, sometimes with my sister, you have to feed her to get her started. You can get her started and then she can maybe keep going. But sometimes you do have to feed her the food.
And sometimes that happens, right? Like sometimes you may have to, whereas before, let's say they could eat a whole piece of chicken by themselves.
Yeah.
And now where they are in their stage, you got to cut the chicken up
Mm-hmm.
for them before they can eat. Or like you said with your sister, if you start her by feeding her, then all of a sudden she can take it over
Yeah.
by herself. That's a matter of just meeting them where they are and adapting to what they need so that they can eat properly. So that's perfectly fine.
You know, one of the things you have to remember that with patients with dementia and stage dementia or even Alzheimer's disease, right? They have difficulty recognizing hunger or even appetite changes. So sometimes you just have to get them, redirect them, and make certain that you're providing that encouragement for them to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's just in general, as we get older, our hunger and our thirst sense goes down a little bit in of itself. So we have to make sure we're consistent, and that's why it's important to have that routine for the day, for the morning, and so that way they can be consistent and get all the nutrients, just as you said, so they can feed their brains, so to lessen the the onset of more severe dementia.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's also important that we keep in mind that independence is vital, right? We
Yep.
want to keep them as independent as long as possible because you also have to factor in There's a level of grief that comes with a dementia diagnosis because you're looking at loss of ability, loss of independence, and loss of self. So as we're going through that transition where they can be independent, let them remain independent. So some things you can do to help with independence, although we recognize that sometimes assistance is needed, right? So always be prepared and ready to help. But you can do things to kind of help them foster their independence. Like you can serve finger foods.
Mm-hmm.
You can also use adaptable dishes or utensils. So sometimes you can put food in a bowl instead of trying to give them a plate. You can also start using larger utensils that may be easier for them to hold. Or sometimes they have specialty utensils where it may like curve a little bit so it's easier to hold in the hand. You also can let the individual feed themselves. I tell people all the time, don't focus on the fact that they make a mess. Okay? Don't worry about neatness. As long as they're eating, let them eat. You can always clean up a mess. They also make adult like aprons or large enough covering so that way if they want to make a mess while they're eating, you can at least cover their clothing because you can always wipe that off or wash it. You can use bendable straws. If you're putting something in a cup, I would say don't fill the cup all the way because sometimes if, they can knock it over, whatever things happen. And sometimes you can just use a cup with a lid and that might be more beneficial for them. But do what you can to help foster independence.
So the temperature thing, I was thinking the hot food, but what about like cold food, like ice cream, or maybe like if a cup has a lot of ice in it, like do you let them know that it's cold?
You can let them know it's cold, just like you can let them know if it's hot. Like sometimes you can blow on, like remember to blow, like you can, and sometimes you can demonstrate. That's the other thing too with dementia care. It's okay to use demonstrations. So, like Miss Geraldine said, they get her sister started by feeding her. You can also demonstrate it with yourself. So, if you're eating ice cream, you can say, "Ooh, this is cold. Take your time," or reminding, "Hey, this is ice in the cup. It's a little cold, so you may want to let it warm up or cool down a little bit." Or if you're eating something hot, you want to blow on it first, like demonstrate blowing. So yeah, it can work either way, Alex. So safety tips. It's important that we keep in mind that swallowing sometimes can be a challenge for individuals with dementia, and choking is a hazard and choking is a thing. So we want to be really careful and mindful of safety concerns. So we want to be aware of signs of choking. So you want to make sure you're encouraging the individual to sit up straight when they're eating. You also want to ensure that all of their food has been chewed and swallowed. And you also want to avoid any foods that may pose a swallowing risk, or a difficulty. You also want to make eating easier. So some individuals may need softer foods as well as their foods cut up into bite-sized pieces so that way we can mitigate choking hazards. And the biggest thing you can do is learn the Heimlich maneuver. That way, in the event choking does occur, you can jump right into action.
And one of the things, when it's speaking about choking hazard, one of the first signs that you would recognize that, they might start having difficulty swallowing is when they start pocketing food in their mouth. That is telling you that they are forgetting how to chew and swallow their meals. So what they're doing now, they're pocketing. And at that stage is when you have to make certain that it is safe to continue either feeding pureed food or some other texture modified food. So at that time, you probably might need to get like a speech therapist involved so that they could evaluate the patient for a swallowing issue and to recommend a modified diet, whether it's going to be liquid feeding or whatever. But this is very important because if you have difficulty swallowing, you could aspirate, develop pneumonia, and so forth, which is very, very serious. So, I worked in a dementia setting before, or a memory support care, and this was one of the first time that we noticed is that, our patients start pocketing food. They're not recognizing food anymore. They don't know how to chew, know how to swallow, and, and it could lead a lot of them, if you force feed them, then you're increasing that risk for them to choke and swallow. So you have to be mindful when caring for those type of patients.
That's a very good point. So some overall tips to remember. We want to remember to be patient and flexible, but that's always a wonderful tip to remember when we're doing dementia care. Patience and flexibility goes a very long way. You also, again, we're picking our battles. Picking your battles. You also want to make sure you are respecting and meeting your loved one where they are. Sometimes you have to get creative and think out of the box. And then you also want to encourage hydration. Like sometimes when my
Yes.
granddad doesn't want to drink out of his water bottle, I'll just give him some watermelon or some cucumbers because I know he likes those two things and I know those will hydrate him. So you get creative. Alrighty. Any questions or comments from myself or Camellia?
One other thing I want to recommend is for you, when it comes to nutrition, you also want to maintain a regular eating schedule, and that would help, to for the clients, like when they're because of difficulty recognizing hunger or appetite changes. So if you feed them at a regular schedule time every day, then it would help them with increasing their consumption.
But that also brings the point too with dementia care routines are very important. So as
Yes.
long as we have our routines and keeping our routines adaptable, we're on the right track. So that's a good point.
Mhm.
Hi,
And
Ronald. How are you?
hydrate, that would help to prevent further cognitive decline. So throughout the day, they should be drinking fluids. So just keep maybe a cup with ice and water next to them, just so that they can sip throughout the day.
Mhm. Hydration is very important. Any other questions or comments for myself and Camellia?
Ronald, you have your hand up.
Do. Good afternoon, ladies. I'm so glad y'all are here to clear up a few things.
Hello.
My question is, I have a problem with any other bean except for a baked bean or something with some taste to it. Those others, I don't care for them. So my question is, am I depriving myself of some nutrients that only come from beans, or what can I supplement those nasty beans? The lima beans, the kidney beans, the chili beans, the fava beans, the mother beans, the ugly beans, the nasty beans. What can I substitute for those particular items that don't do my mouth very well?
I'm right
Oh.
there with Mr. Ronald. So I would like to answer to that as well, Camellia. Because I'm like him. All I'm gonna eat is a baked bean, and if you can hide some beans and some chili, I'll let it slide because I like chili.
No, I don't want it in my chili. I don't.
So,
But I'll tell you what, Giovanna, I'm glad you said that because my classmates talk about me so bad that I don't like. They joan on me. They they break me down.
I'm right there with you, Mr. Ronald. I don't like any other bean.
Thank you.
Send
Yeah.
him to the islands.
Yeah. Thank you. So what
So
what is an
let
alternative? What is an alternative for
me,
the nutrients that other beans might give?
Quinoa.
there, if you're not a vegetarian, right, you can look at other protein sources such as chicken, um, beef. I mean, I'm not saying to eat beef every day. You have your fishes. So those are some of the things that you could alternate. And also, you have lots of nuts and seeds that you could also utilize. So I'm going to say look at alternative protein sources. And sometimes, if it's just the look of the peas and beans, maybe you could kind of puree it or something so that you could also get the nutrients from this. But apart from that, I would say look at other protein sources like your lean protein, like chicken, fish, low fat cuts of beef, and that you
Oh,
could
I already do those things. So my dislike of beans is okay.
can you repeat that?
I said I'm already with chicken and fish and other things that I do enjoy. I was questioning my dislike of the ugly beans and the other ones. Um, that takes care of my need for the same nutrients I would get
Yes,
from those
yes,
beans.
yes.
All right,
From other protein source, yes.
thank you very much. Thank you
Okay,
very
so
much.
it sounds like we all right, Mr. Ronald, if we don't
Yeah,
have no
yeah, I'll
beef.
be all right with my classmates now. They won't talk
Mhm.
about me so bad.
Yeah.
Ship him off to the islands.
See,
Beans
Thank you, Louise. Thank
if
you,
you can
Louise.
are
hide the
good.
bean in something that I don't know the bean is in there, I might be okay. The moment I see the bean, that's the problem.
Thank you.
Mash them up. Mash
That's the problem.
Crash them,
That
put it
is
there.
No,
the
mash
problem.
'em up.
I
I
had
can
a
smell
friend
them.
one time.
I can
She
smell
gave
them a
me
mile away.
exactly. She gave me a brownie, and I tasted the brownie, and the brownie was okay. But I was like, this brownie a little different. It didn't taste like a normal brownie. She gave me a black bean brownie, and I was like, how dare you?
Thank you, ladies. I needed that.
How dare you? But it wasn't that bad. Like I said, if you can hide it and stuff, and I don't know what it is, I might be okay.
They have
And
these bean burgers also that is really, you can't recognize the beans in it. So that could be an alternative choice as well.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I might be brave enough and try that one day. I will at least try food once. I will at least give them a try before I completely say I don't like it.
Mm, mm,
I will say I will do that. So I might
mm,
give that a
mm.
try. Any
All
other
right.
questions for us about nutrition and dementia or nutrition questions?
Okay. Again, thank you both for being here, and what you have been sharing has been very insightful and helpful. So please, this is the time, folks. If you have any last questions or comments, to please share. But it was a great session today, you two.
Thank you. Now I know, Camellia, I get a lot of questions about what foods are best to eat for dementia. Like I always get the
Ah,
questions about the berries, your
mm.
strawberries, your blueberries, and your raspberries. Which berries are the best berry?
Look, any berries is the best berries, especially blueberries.
Hmm.
Those the berries provide antioxidant to, to eradicate what you call it, toxin from your body. So berries is very, very, very important, and it helps the prevent a lot of stress damages within our bodies and
Okay,
prevent
strawberries and
cancers as
blueberries.
well. So berries is very, very important. Somebody said they like leafy green vegetable. I would say incorporate a lot, any type of leafy greens, vegetable into your diet because they provide a lot of essential nutrients that your body needs to maintain that brain functions. Um, I would say like incorporating fatty fish into your diet, things like your sardines, your salmon,
Mm-hmm.
tunas, those are very, very essential because it has a lot of omega-3 fatty acids that are essential for brain function and
Mm-hmm.
maintaining your brain.
Yeah.
Um, lots of nuts and seeds for healthy fats. You could incorporate those like for your snacks
Mm-hmm.
between meals, and they can be very filling as well. Um, you know, a lot of, stay away from the refined food, incorporate a lot of whole grains, that would help to really sustain your energy throughout the day. So whole grain foods are very, very important. And you know, cooking the type of oil that you cook with is very essential. So I would say cook with olive oil every chance that you get, because it acts as an anti-inflammatory agent, and it would sustain and prevent inflammation, which could have a direct, what I can see, impact on your brain health, okay? Because the more information that you have, it damage your brain function and decrease your cognitive function. Um, eggs, people might ask why eggs. Well, eggs provide a lot of chlorine, which is important for memory. So, consuming maybe not every day, but at least, maybe a boiled eggs or a scrambled egg, whichever, that patient likes, whatever form. But incorporating eggs periodically in your diet is also essential. I know that sometimes you look, you know, instead of maybe the egg yolk, you could use like the egg white, and that can go a very long way. Egg white, you can use it every day. But if you're using eggs and you like the eggs with a yolk, I would say incorporate maybe 2 days a week, and that would be beneficial and help with memory functions. So there is a lot of food, we do not, one of the things that I always recommend, I do not restrict foods for patients with dementia and Alzheimer's disease because you want them, because a lot of times, food consumption can be a major issue and you want to make certain that you avoid or make certain that you don't put them at risk for malnutrition or dehydration. So whatever they want to eat, feed them their favorite food and, encourage them as much as possible to consume an adequate meal throughout the day. Like Giovanna said earlier, consuming small, frequent meal is the best strategy for maintaining or making certain that you consume an adequate caloric diet throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a good plan. Miss
Yes.
Marie, did you
Yes,
have a
I would
question
like to
for us?
know what could I substitute for avocados? I don't like avocados.
Mm.
Well, avocado, you get your good fat from avocado. So I would say like incorporating nuts and seeds, any nuts and things into your diet would provide healthy fats as well. So instead of avocado, you could, like I said, purchase more nuts. There's a variety of nuts out there, so any forms of nuts and seeds would be beneficial.
Okay, thank you. Ah,
Any other questions for us? Comments?
I learned so much today, you two. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Well,
Any
that
last
is all that I have today.
Good. Oh, it was very good.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Now,
Giovanni,
you are very welcome.
being on
Just a
my
quick
side.
reminder, I will not be here in July.
Wow.
Y'all won't see me in July.
What's going on in July?
What's happening?
So in July, I'm not doing any programming anywhere since I've been at DACL now for a year and 2 months. I'm doing a whole entire program refresh and reset, revamping, and everything. But I'll be back in action in August.
Okay.
All right.
That's
So,
good.
Good.
All
yeah, you'll
right.
see me back in August. You just
Okay.
won't see me in
Okay.
July.
We'll wait with bated breath.
Well,
Yeah.
So I hope everyone has a wonderful whole month of
Yes.
July.
yeah.
And I
Okay.
can't wait to hear about
You
all the things
too.
that y'all did. Thank you. In July when I come back in August.
Okay.
You
Well,
have a
Okay.
thank
wonderful
you both.
Juneteenth, Giovanna and Camellia,
Thank
and a
you.
Yes.
wonderful
Same
Thank
to
4th of
you.
you.
Thank
July.
you.
Thank
Oh,
both of you
thank you,
for
and same to
everything.
you all.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Tom, I did drop the 10 warning signs in the chat for you to look at. And I also dropped the contact information for DACL. If you all have any questions or you want to, reach out for services, as well as the number for adult protective services in the event you need that service as well.
Let's
Okay,
all
thank
say thank
you.
you
Well,
to Camellia and Giovanna today.
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you
you.
so
So
much.
Thank you
much.
All
both.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I
All
needed
right.
that.
Thank you.
All right, I'll see everyone in August.
All
Bye.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Let her see my face.
You got it.
Have fun.
Bye bye.
Have fun.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Well, all right. Well, all right.